Well, it's time now to get some culture on the programme, and for that I'm joined by Alison Sargent. Hi, Alison.
Hi, Nadia.
Alison, you're clutching a book because we're starting with some big news in the French comic book world, and that's the release of the 40th edition of Asterix.
That's right. Asterix, a major cultural phenomenon, of course, here in France. Viewers may or may not be familiar with him. I know I was introduced to Asterix during college French classes. For those who are not familiar, he's this little mustachioed warrior. He's the hero of the beloved comic series created by René, Goscinny, and Uderzo back in 1959, so he has been around for quite a while. Asterix lives in the ancient region of Gaul, which is now modern-day France, in the year 50 BCE under the rule of the Roman Empire. He and his Ophi sidekick Obelix defend their village from the Romans and go, of course, on worldwide adventures. There are a lot of puns, a lot of cultural references. The humor in Asterix has been described as very French. Still, Asterix is the most widely sold French language comic book abroad. The publishers printed actually 5 million copies of this newest album. It's coming out today simultaneously in 20 different languages and dialects. And the publisher told us that the humor in Asterix, which traffics very heavily in cultural stereotypes, is actually one of the reasons that people love it so much. Take a listen.
Justement, c'est parce qu'on est intègre avec nos racines et qu'on s'amuse d'abord de nous-mêmes. Et ça, nos voisins européens, ça les fait rire, mais ça fait rire aussi le reste du monde de découvrir nos travers. On joue avec les clichés bien connus autour des Français / Gaulois qui sont ripailleurs, batailleurs, de mauvaise foi. Et effectivement, je pense qu'on s'y reconnaît et on s'en amuse, mais nos voisins nous reconnaissent aussi dans cette bande dessinée.
So, Alison, this is the 40th edition. Tell us, what's it about?
Well, it's called Asterix and the White Iris, and it's worth noting, Nadia, that both of the original creators, René, Goscinny, and Albert Uderzo, are no longer with us. The drawings in this edition are done by Didier Conrad, and now he's worked on previous albums before. The big new thing is that this is the first one written by comic book author Fabcaro, who's really known for his cultural satire and sense of the absurd. The White Iris is basically a satire of wellness culture. The villain is called Tullius Vicévertus. Now, he's the doctor for Julius Caesar's army. He's basically a new age health guru who encourages positive thinking, vegetarianism, and meditation, so probably sounds either great to you or horrible to you. He finds many followers, including in Asterix's village. Asterix, of course, not one of his followers. Now, we just got it today. They wouldn't give it to us before. It was really under wraps, so I haven't gotten to read it, but so far I do know that it includes references to Parisian hipsters, electric scooters, fusion cuisine, and it even has some feminist commentary. So I think it's definitely, Nadia, going to be probably our cup of tea.
Yeah, I was going to say Asterix, not normally for me, but you sold it to me very well there, Alison. Next, tell us about the guest you had on your show today, Alison. She's a writer and she's been hailed as one of Britain's best young novelists.
Her name is Isabella Hammad. She was born in London, but her father's family is from the West Bank, and a lot of her work really explores her British-Palestinian cultural identity. Her award-winning debut novel, The Parisian, came out in 2019. It was inspired by the life of her grandfather. It's about a young Palestinian man navigating the political tumult of the early 20th century. She came to talk, though, about her second novel that came out this year, Enter Ghost. It's set in the contemporary times in 2017, and it is about a British-Palestinian actress who, divorced and reeling from a love affair, returns to her family's homeland to visit her sister and then gets caught up in this West Bank production of Hamlet. It explores art, resistance, and cultural identity. And it was really interesting speaking to Isabella Hammad now at a time when we've seen many Palestinian artists have been having their events canceled or postponed due to what's going on right now in Israel and the Palestinian territories. And I asked Isabella Hammad about that, and we can take a listen to what she has to say.
It's gravely disappointing that at a moment when Palestinian voices really need to be heard in the West, that those voices are being deliberately excluded or censored. I also think it's worth pointing out that Palestinians don't really have the infrastructure to speak to the world. They don't have kind of like established ways of expressing their viewpoint in the same way as most other people. So it's striking that these attacks on free speech are being directed at individual artists and writers. So that really should tell people something. They should ask why are they so afraid that a Palestinian should speak.
And you can watch that full interview with Isabella Hammad on the Arts24 page of our website.
All right. Thanks very much for telling us a little bit about it. Good to see you, Alison Sargent, for us there.